Show. We've got a great one for you today. I know a lot of people are in the chat ready to go, excited. We are going to be talking to the founders of Creepz, an NFT project that has built an entire ecosystem and working on building a global brand. I know everyone wants to hear more about that. I'm excited to hear more about that. We've had a huge week. We gave away a whitelist spot yesterday for Star Wolves. We talked to Cool Cats last week. We have done so many cool interviews recently, and we got more exciting things coming up, including that Creepz interview in just a little bit. Don't go anywhere. This is The Roadmap. All right, everyone, as I said, this is The Roadmap, Benzinga's NFT show. Man, I know there is a lot of people here ready to hear about Creepz. The chat is going wild. If everyone can do me a favor, since you're already here, smash that like button, subscribe to Benzinga's YouTube channel. We are trying to build up our NFT coverage, and we would love to have you here along for the ride. Before we start the interview, I do want to give a shout out to today's sponsor. Our episode is sponsored by FTX US, one of the largest cryptocurrency exchanges in the world in terms of trading volume and daily users. The FTX app is used by over 6 million people to buy crypto and NFTs with no transaction or withdrawal fees. You can use your phone or computer, and the FTX US trading platform offers NFT trading on both the Ethereum and Solana blockchains with no gas fees. To find out more about the FTX app, click on the link in the description below and also in the chat right now. So if you have not signed up for an FTX account, be sure to check them out and let them know that Benzinga sent you, and a shout out to FTX for sponsoring today's episode. Without further ado, before we get into this interview, I think it's time to bring on my co-host. Coming to you live from Detroit today in the Benzinga studio, we have Benzinga's own Brian Moir. Brian, what's going on, buddy? You look a little bit different today.
I
look
know.
At that background.
We got the full gambit here. We're in it. We're in it to win it. We are professionals stepping it up in Detroit, coming from you live from Detroit.
Love it. We are in it to win it, and I mean, Brian, can you see the chat right now? Like,
it's going wild.
It's going insane.
Are y'all excited for something? Do we have like a cool guest on her? I don't even know.
Yes, and I did see someone in the chat say the comments appear live on the screen. That is correct. There aren't a ton of interviews that do this, right? Where you can see all those comments live on screen during the interview. So with that being said, go ahead and drop those comments, leave some questions, let us know you're here. Let us know where you're from so we can tell where this international and, U.S. audience is coming from, right? Let us know what country, what state you're from. We are going to break the internet. We're going to break Benzinga YouTube records right now. So go ahead, smash that like, subscribe to the channel. And Brian, we've already had a huge week, right? We gave away $1,000 in Ethereum over the last week as a contest.
And a Star Wolf.
Yesterday, we gave away a Star Wolf. We airdropped that to one lucky person in the chat, and we got more exciting things coming. And I am so excited that today we are doing an interview with a project that I can say I wish I knew more about. And what happens when I wish I knew more about?
We're about to find out.
I go do some research and I reach out and we try to get the team on. And I mean, Brian, we had Franklin on, right? Who owns? Yeah. I mean, I don't know what the
too
number
many board
is today.
apes. 40, he needs to give us
42. I think he owns 42 board apes, and one of the projects he talked about was Creepz, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, the fact that someone who owns that many bored apes said all these positive things about Creepz, that made me do some digging and some thinking.
You went to go creep on the Creepz, huh?
We did, and I'm so excited. Brian, what do you think? Should we get into this interview before
our chat might explode? Jeez Louise, guys, are you excited or something? Like, Who are the? Let's find out who they are. Let's find out what they're all about. I mean, this is the most I've ever seen it active ever. So let's dive into it. Let's get
All
this
right,
party
guys. Well,
started.
just because we're going to bring them on doesn't mean to stop those comments. Let's keep those comments flying. And in the meantime, I am excited to welcome on to the roadmap the creators of Creepz. We have Joe and Dom joining us on the stream today.
Hey,
All
Chris.
right,
Hi,
Joe
Brian.
and Dom, what is going on?
It's all good. It's all good. I think, first up, the Creepz community go really hard. And they may or may not
We
break
can see.
YouTube.
I like it.
All right, it looks like there's Joe.
He's back.
Joe,
I'm
can
here.
you
I'm
hear
here.
us?
I'm here. I'm here. How you doing, guys? Excited to be here and excited to
I
chat.
can't hear Joe.
Yeah, I can hear him. We're both excited for you guys to be here. Obviously, I
Awesome.
don't know why. Well, Chris, can you not hear anyone?
I can hear you, and I heard Dom first.
I don't know what to do.
All right, well, we will keep it rolling,
We'll roll
guys.
with it. We'll figure
So
it out.
excited to have you guys here and to learn more about the Creepz ecosystem, right? So before we dive into Creepz, just wondering if you guys can both share a little bit about your history in the cryptocurrency and NFT space with us. So let's start here with Joe.
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, to give a bit of background on myself, I've been in crypto probably since 2011. Arguably, my crypto career has been pretty terrible. I've made some pretty terrible bets, but I think what I've done throughout this period is learn, right? And I think that's the most important thing we can all be doing at this stage is how do we start to validate what is good, what is bad, what are good signals, what are good actors. And it's really helped when it came to building NFTs is, all of these, the ICOs that we chased and et cetera. And when it came to NFTs, I think we joined NFT market about a year ago, just buying projects that we believed, had great stories or, had interesting art. And, I think that kind of drove us to want to, I guess that plus the natural drive of being founders in a Web 2 sense, that urge drove us to want to build in the space. And that curiosity wanted us to keep learning. And how do you best learn? You learn by doing, right? So It's been about a year in the space now. And, God, it's been what a journey. Creepz has been 3 months, which feels like a year. But yeah, it's been an exciting journey so far for us.
All right, and over to you, Dom. Your history and experience in crypto and NFTs prior to Creepz.
Yeah, sure. I guess my first ever experience in crypto was, over a decade ago. And, I was buying some less than savory products online, let's put it that way, as a sort of adventurous young man leaving his teens. But that sort of turned me on to crypto and what it is. And, me and my sort of other buddies at high school who are sort of, technically curious and philosophically curious, kind of enjoyed the meaning behind what crypto could do to the world. Now, that curiosity didn't translate into, being a good investor. I would put my hands up and say I'm a terrible crypto investor. But NFTs sort of actually hit me in a very different way. And I think they've hit, the market and a sort of set of users in a very different way in that, it's not just a number on a screen with some technical, analysis behind it. There's something more emotional and visceral and almost like tangible storylines and things like that going on. And so, about a year ago, Joe and I started sort of investing in NFTs. And, after a while, we thought, this is really cool, and we want to learn by building. So we decided to start Creepz as a sort of weekend hobby.
That's awesome. Thank you guys so much for sharing that background information. Let's jump right into Creepz. So the Genesis launch happened, as you said, a couple months ago. So tell us about the Genesis launch, how that process went, and how it has led to what Creepz has become.
Yeah, I think the Genesis launch is officially the most anxious moment of my entire life, as I'm sure every NFT founder goes through. We we really focused on transparent community building. All these sort of OG creeps in the chat who were there then know how much we lent into that. We were very transparent about fake versus real metrics, and cutting bots out and making sure real people talking a lot. Anyway, by going through that process, we didn't have inflated numbers in the way a lot of Discords and Twitters do. Our numbers comparably looked very small. And a lot of people, whether they were influencers, top collectors, etc., said, you guys aren't going to mint out. But we kind of took an emotional gut feel, and we were like, they're measuring metrics here, but actually we've got a real sentiment check on depth of community here and the sort of fandom that had already been created. And so we went ahead with the mint, and it kind of exploded. And it was a really great moment, having those thousands of people join the brand as co-owners, essentially.
Joe, anything else to add to that?
I mean, I echo Dom's feeling around probably the most nerve-wracking moment. We'd been in fairly comfortable Web2 jobs. Always had ambitions as to be founders, had started businesses beforehand, and when we started building in NFTs and created the Creepz concept, we really started to do this purely out of passion and curiosity. And when you go down a route for passion and curiosity, the last thing you really think about is how do you make a life out of this? How do you commercialize it? We were just thinking, actually, this provides satisfaction for us outside of our other careers. That it allows us to be hyper creative. It allows us to build. It allows us to be around people. And they're the kind of values that we really enjoy and crave. So when it came to Creepz, we actually just did all the things that we would want to do if we were a part of a project. So it was, everything was organic. Everything was built through real relationships with real people. And, I think those were the reasons why everyone who came and compared us to every brand minting at that time, they thought that we just didn't have the breadth of community to be able to get to the point where we mint out. And, to Dom's point around, we had the depth and we took an emotional view and judgment on it. We both quit our jobs at 1,000 Discord members after seeing the passion and energy from the Creepz community and said, right, the only way we're going to do this is if we're fully one of us. So we quit, we jumped in full time, and we spent hours upon hours, 16, 17 hours a day for about a month, 2 months, just, playing games, having fun, building partnerships, building relationships. And, I guess these seminal moments like mints, where you're kind of working towards this, not really knowing what happens, but you're kind of guiding a whole community who believe in you and believe in the project to that. I guess it was less around, the concern was less around what if we don't make it because we don't get the money out of this or we don't get the story of success. It was like, what if we disappoint the community, right? What if actually all of this stuff didn't come to fruition and the community actually didn't get to be, co-owners of the Creepz brand like we knew they would really enjoy being. So yeah, it was a real emotional journey. But again, everything we did was also designed for, what does the 6-month journey look like? So the mint was one thing, but behind the scenes, we built and we built and we built, and we had, a whole season 1 of activations ready to go before we'd minted. So it wasn't like, oh shit, we're here now, what do we do? There was a bit of shock on mint day, but really what we'd done behind the scenes was prepare for both scenarios, was prepare for the scenario that we get to mint out, and then we wanted to really turn on the gas and start to deliver.
My memory is not fantastic generally, but the moments that I do remember tend to be very visceral. And I remember it was about 2 a.m. In London. It was a cold winter's day, end of December on mint day. It was just Joe and I in a vast office by ourselves. The mint happened, it minted out, and Joe was pacing around, and he looked at me, he said, I think I'm going to throw up. And I looked back up, and I said, I think I'm going to cry. It's like the most ridiculous moment ever. But, a large portion of that was just how supportive the community were and how excited they were. It's a feeling you can't replicate, and all the Creepz who are back, involved then. I'm sure they felt that too, and they've carried that feeling through to new holders and infected everyone with sort of infectious energy.
Awesome. I love that passion and just you guys' commitment to this project. It's so cool to hear, these stories and the behind the scenes. I mentioned the Genesis. We've also had a couple other launches since then, which we'll dive into some of those specifics later on. But can you just break down kind of the differences between the Genesis, Shapeshifters, and Armory for us here?
Yeah, for sure. Genesis is our baby. It's the main asset of the Creepz. It's our Iron Man, it's our Mickey Mouse, and it always will be. The Shapeshifters and the Reptile Armory and the other good stuff like that. They're sort of artistic experiences. They are essentially the chess pieces in the gamified art experiences we created. The Creepz ecosystem is divided into seasons, and each season we focus on a different sort of game, as it were, or different focus. And season one was all about.
I love those. Sorry.
Yeah, season one was about getting these really fun art characters and having these unique mechanics. One of the mechanics was this sort of card trading game. We both remember being children in the playground at school and trading Pokemon cards with each other. We kind of wanted to recreate that digitally on chain. And so, with these Shapeshifters you're looking at now, if you collected all 5 of one character, you could burn them and mutate them into this animated mega. And, they had different mechanics behind them.
That's awesome. Do you want to kind of dive into the, I guess we'll say the ID lizards or interdimensional lizards? Can you kind of explain those to us?
Yeah, the interdimensionals are a big moment for us as a brand and as holders. The Creepz Genesis was a generative collection in that all 11,111 are unique in their traits combinations. Every collection we've done since have not been unique. They've been repeated based on the mechanics. Interdimensionals will be the first big generative drop we've done since Creepz. They're going to be held up in the same category as the Creepz. They're all going to be unique and identical. And, Psychroma Artists is putting a lot of deep love and care into creating lots of traits and creating really cool traits. He's an awesome artist. He's worked for Nike. He's the lead artist at SneakerCon. So he's got a lot of deep roots in sneaker culture. He's a 60s 70s kid, and so he loves that kind of old school hip hop and stuff, and those kind of references come into his art. So it's a really fun, special moment for a brand new collection. The Creepz holders are currently going through this really cool art experience where they're kind of incubating their own and kind of basically opening these trait packs to kind of have luck at creating their own interdimensional that sort of represents them in some other way. And then we'll mint out the remainder to other communities.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's really interesting. I kind of like that aspect. And I like how you guys have all, there's so much different things inside the whole, I guess, universe and ecosystem within the Creepz community. So how does one person, let's say, how would someone just join in the ecosystem? How would you go about doing that?
Yeah, I'll be the first person to put my hands up and say we've probably made Creepz a pretty complex ecosystem. And so,
that's okay.
Definitely over the next month, we're going through a big sort of rebrand, reposition, and we're gonna, simplify everything and make it understandable for newcomers, because there's a bit of friction getting into the Creepz at the moment in terms of knowledge and understanding what the hell's going on. But if you were to get into the Creepz ecosystem, I would buy our Mickey Mouse. Get the Creepz Genesis, and up until public mint, if you join the community and you get a Creepz Genesis, you will get a free interdimensional mint. And if you want to, you can join in the art experience and have a shot at getting the cool traits on it. But you know, if you don't want to join the experience halfway through, you can sit back, relax with your Genesis, enjoy the community, and get the free mint at the end of it.
Well, there you go.
Awesome.
You guys heard it here first.
Yeah. I mean, that was my big question, right? Is if I'm not in the Creepztopia, if I'm not in the ecosystem, how do I get involved? So it looks like Genesis is definitely the way to go. And speaking of Genesis, if you just want to keep it up here on the screen, Alyssa. So we have interviewed, you know, a lot of NFT teams on our show, The Roadmap here. And one of our favorite questions to ask, which can be difficult sometimes for the founders here, is pick out, you know, one or two of your favorite traits. Now, I know that's difficult because you love them all, but share with us, you know, both of you, what are some of your favorite traits, and we'll take it from there.
And we'll share ours.
Yeah. I mean, go ahead, Joe.
I'll go first. Fine. I think one of the things which I think is important as a I guess a team when designing a NFT collection is thinking about what's the future state. And one of the things we really obsessed over was how do we bring two things. One is as much story as possible and narrative into the brand and to the artwork. And the second thing was, I guess, optionality for where this brand could go. You know, we always had big ambitions to be a brand that transcends NFTs and starts becoming a really, really meaningful brand in global entertainment. And what does that look like? What is entertainment? You know, entertainment is you know, animation, it's fashion, it's events. And when it came to the Genesis, one of the things myself, Dom, and Ian Cychrome, that our artist, did was, you know, we actually went and designed a whole load of Creepz, you know, own brand fashion items. And, you know, drawing on Ian's childhood and his inspiration and his adulthood and all the references that he's sort of grown up around, which is this streetwear and hip hop culture, we created a whole collection of Creepz own items. So you know, you get, I guess you call them merch items, right? And you know, you see them across the collection, and this was just for us an amazing, I guess, taste into what the future of the Creepz brand could be. You know, whether it was, you know, Creepz bucket hats, Creepz like puffer jackets or windbreakers, all of these really, really cool items are completely designed from scratch by Ian. And I think when we did that, we then and we created the generative collection, we then realized actually just how fluid and natural the evolution from being an NFT brand into being a fashion brand is. So, you know, you'll see that on our roadmap. We have ambitions to be an actual fashion brand, not just a merch brand. And it all stemmed from the creation of the Genesis and just how well that fit. So, you know, I know that's not one piece, but I do think, you know, out of the whole collection, those which have the Creepz merch on is certainly my favorite.
And how about you, Dom?
Yeah, I do actually have specific pieces that are my favorite.
Let's hear them.
So,
shoot them.
You know, Creepz is inspired by conspiracy theories. You know, the Creepz themselves are basically...
says you're Banksy. Yeah.
I'm not that talented. You know, the Creepz themselves are based on the lizard people conspiracy. And if you don't know what that is, it's basically this real life conspiracy made by David Icke that there's these alien lizards that have basically invaded Earth and they're hidden as human beings. And they've kind of, you know, they've infiltrated the highest echelons of society. You know, they're our presidents, our celebrities, our sports stars.
CEOs of companies.
The coast to coast guy, right?
Yeah, right, exactly. I mean, there's actually 15 million people in the US alone, and many more globally genuinely believe it. And it's amazing.
It's awesome. I love it.
But anyway, you know, based on that, we've got a lot of conspiracy themed traits. You know, I think you've seen like flat Earth come by, etc., etc. Now, one of mine is the birds aren't real trait. It's just a T-shirt that says birds aren't real.
I like that.
Now, I'd never heard of this conspiracy before, but, you know, it was before launch, and Ian was doing, or Cychrome was doing the traits, and I was up on a hiking holiday with one of my good friends, and I was showing him some of them, and he stopped at this birds aren't real trait, and he started laughing his head off. I was like, what the hell is it? What are you laughing at? Because I'd never heard of it before. And he explained this amazing conspiracy about how like birds are actually robots that are created by the government to spy on us. And there's lots of sort of tangents in that conspiracy that are sort of vaguely humorous. Like, for example, the reason birds can sit on like power lines is because they're robots and they're just recharging.
They're recharging, yeah. Duh.
And so I absolutely love the birds aren't real trait. And the other one I like, it's just, they just look damn cool rather than having a story behind them. But we've got like the rare Creepz have masks on, like bunny masks and different kind of masks. Ski masks basically, and they look damn cool. I don't actually know what they're called, so I don't know how you find them. Joe might know what they're called.
I think they're balaclava Creepz.
They're balaclavas. That's the one, isn't it?
Yeah. As
Alyssa
hats.
will find one.
As
There's
hats.
one.
There's
Or
a
at least a ski mask. I'm starting to love this project more and more. The more you talk about it. Like I've seen it talked about a little bit, but I'm so glad to have you guys on because I'm all about it.
Yeah, and I'm
Birds aren't real.
scrolling through these traits in the background too. We've got Alyssa pulling it up on the screen here. There they are. I mean, those look sweet. This is a rare trait, correct?
Yeah, it's a rare trait, and I just think they're pretty damn cool.
They are pretty damn cool. That would definitely be on my shopping list. When I was scrolling down through, I went down to the bottom, and under the tail, I thought the rainbow tail looked kind of cool, and then there was under tattoos, the color tats look sweet. So those would be two traits that I noticed. Brian, did you find any traits going?
I like
here?
that one right in the middle, the Illuminati with the puffy jacket.
Oh yeah, we got the pyramid on top. Yep.
That's it. That's the one.
That's the one
and
right there.
Anyone that says birds aren't real, because I love that conspiracy theory because it just makes sense because they're not. Just come on, birds just aren't real.
There's so much meaning in all the traits that Cychrome does. Like, those color tats you're looking at, every single tattoo has a story behind it. He watched thousands and thousands of hours of conspiracy theory documentaries on TV shows. And he's sort of put them in there. We just found out today, but for the interdimensionals, he's done this amazing tattoo, which I'm actually going to tell the Creepz about for the first time. Hey. Very sadly, 2 weeks ago, a Creepz holder accidentally sent his creep to the burner address rather than the stake address. And it was all a big sad affair. And essentially, he's done a tattoo of a tombstone with the number token that creep is, and it's going to be imprinted on the interdimensionals forever. And we're actually going to hold a funeral in the Discord for that.
You guys have sold me.
Oh my goodness!
I'm a part of the community. I don't know if I have enough to buy a floor one right now, but I'm joining.
Just to clarify, that was shared for the first time here today.
Mm-hmm.
That's of course, awesome. Yeah. First time. We just found it today.
That's it. You guys,
we love it. We love it. I mean, those traits are cool. I've got two ones. I gotta say. To hop into my next question here, something we talk a lot about with NFTs and some of the different founders is, building the brand out, right? And I saw that you guys now are represented by 360 to help bring Creepz as a global brand. And for those who don't know 360, I mean, they represent Kelvin Harris, Louis Tomlinson, and also some guy who was in the news recently. His name's Will Smith. I don't know if anyone knows.
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone knows why he was in the news, but tell me a little bit more about 360 and what this means for Creepz moving forward.
Yeah, the idea for 360 has always been to, become a big global entertainment brand. Mickey Mouse was once just a drawing on a piece of paper, and Marvel was just Iron Man on a comic book, and Harry Potter was just some words written on a napkin. And I think you'll see in the next sort of 5 years that the next big global franchises, will likely come from NFTs. It's just in a really great organic format for franchises and entertainment brands to come from, because you start with an initial bunch of revenue, and you also got ferocious fans from day one. And so 360 saw that potential, and we kind of synced up on a call and chatted all things Creepz in the future of the market and the industry and all that good stuff. And they shared some of their vision, we shared some of ours, and we kind of had a meeting of the hearts, and we decided, let's do this. They wanted us to be the first NFT brand they managed. And it moves into everything we want to do. We want to do a sort of animated series and try and get it into top 10 Netflix. We want to do a fashion brand that you can legitimately stand up as its own brand, and represent a kind of the kind of counterculture that Creepz stands for. We're looking at all sorts of other cool stuff, and so they've come on board, and they're just absolute geniuses at what they've done, and they've built up people's careers from zero to hero. Some of those people you mentioned on the management list, and we really can't wait for them to do the same and help us do that with Creepz.
Just one thing to add on that, and I think this is, I guess, true of anyone who joins, and I'm sure you guys are picking up that now, which is, primarily, the guys behind 360 are Creepz holders, and primarily they're there for the energy and for the community. They jumped into our Discord, and honestly, when we made this announcement, they said, they rep some of the biggest names in the world, Will Smith being one of them. And they said when they jumped into the Discord and when they made that Twitter post, they have never seen so much noise across their socials. And they are totally infected by the Creepz energy and vibe. So, and I think that's really important for us as a brand is, everyone who's around the brand and everyone who's a part of it really, really cares about building something real and building something meaningful. And, that's a kind of pre-requirement when we work with any partnerships or anyone comes and joins us is, is everyone, does everyone care about the community? Does everyone care about what we're trying to contribute? So, I think it's super fun to be working with people who believe in the vision and believe in where this thing could go. And 360 is definitely one of them.
I'll echo that statement too, because we saw Creepz put out a tweet today that they were going to appear on Benzinga. We put out a couple tweets as well. And I mean, those saw some strong engagement. And I think that's a loyal testament to the community. Many of them, here right now. So shout out to Creepz and the community members who are tuning in, watching us live, and also, listening to us on podcasts, watching this after it airs. So, my hat's off to what you guys have built here. I want to go back to the shapeshifters for a minute. Alyssa, if you can pull those up. So in the shapeshifters launch, there was 5 different celebrities themed here. We got Mr. Donald Trump, Mark Cuban, Paris Hilton, Elon Musk, and Snoop Dogg. My question for you guys is, are there going to be more of these? And I don't know if you can share the names, but do you have names in mind of who would be launched in future shapeshifters?
A little sneak peek.
Unfortunately, there are unlikely to be any more shapeshifters in the current format. We have promised Creepz holders that we're going to airdrop them a shapeshifter. The reason for that is because a lot of these guys, they had to burn their shapeshifters, and it's really cool art, and it's a really cool memory. A lot of people messaged and said in the Discord that the card trading game that we had for the 1 week that it happened was the best experience they've had in NFTs. And, a few people came out and said they haven't had that much fun since they were a kid. And it really meant a lot. So we are going to make one more shapeshifter is going to get airdropped. It's been delayed, and all the Creepz know it's been delayed, and they hold us against it because we promised it a while ago. But basically, we're trying to get a very, very big collab over the line with a sort of big Web2 brand, and we want to kind of try to keep it as a sort of mic drop moment. But there is one more coming, and we're not going to say who it is or what it is.
It's gonna be us.
I mean, I just saw this comment in the chat that says make a shapeshifter of Brian and Chris. I mean, I'm not going to tell you guys what to do, but
not financial advice. But
it looks like the community wants it, and I would also throw out. I mean, I don't know. Maybe if you're working with 360, maybe Will Smith. He's been kind of a popular, unpopular guy recently, but that would get some headlines. But that's awesome, and we look forward to hearing, who the next one is. Unfortunately, we couldn't get that out of you guys today, but I'll turn it over to Brian here with some more questions.
Well, let's talk about the play to earn aspect. What can you kind of go over that for us for a second? Just like a brief overview.
Yeah, I think earlier on we mentioned that Creepz is sort of created in seasons, and each season we focus on something different. Season 1 was, fun, at its core, play to earn. We always defined play to earn as, the earn of play to earn, is, earning cool art that you can, have experiences with and, liquidate if you like. And, that's where, you had your shapeshifters, mega shapeshifters, and reptile armory come out as, these cool bits of art that had mechanics, and they yielded Lumi, which was is sort of the ecosystem currency, as it were, to get more of these characters. And season 1, the whole point of it was, first half season 1 was to get these characters in your hands. The more Lumi you generated, the more characters you could get, the larger your army. And the reason you needed a larger army is because the second half of season 1 was this big mystery box event where you used your yielded Lumi to spin the box for 2 reasons. Reason 1 was to get points, and the more points you got, you ranked on this, holder leaderboard. And at the end of the experience, we gave away prizes, like a Tesla, a holiday to the Caribbean, all sorts of fun stuff like that.
Just little things.
Yeah, just little things, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was, reason 1, and reason 2 was to collect shards. And so shards are like these crystals, like diamonds from space. If you got one from each week, you were able to open the interdimensional portal to come into season 2, which is where we're currently at. And in season 2, if you got your shards, you'd get your free interdimensional mint.
Awesome. Well, I think you did kind of hit on this already, so I'm going to double up the questions. What is Lumi really used for in general? You kind of already hit on that, but maybe expand a little bit more. And also, do certain Creepz earn more Lumi than others, or is there a certain way to combine it to earn more, or how does that work?
Yeah, some Creepz do earn more than other Creepz. Basically, based on their skin, whether you're blue, yellow, gray, green, I can't remember the other colors now, but they're ranked differently and they earn slightly more. Mega shapeshifters earn more or less depending on the character. For example, Mega Snoop earns more than Mega Trump. And in season 2, we've got this mechanic where essentially you can either trade your Lumi in for Lamex points, or you can switch your yield to yielding Lamex points. Lamex points are like the currency of season 2. The reason for that is, we've now managed to make a gasless experience. Gas is an absolute nightmare in NFTs, as you guys know and everyone else knows. And we just didn't want anyone spending a penny on gas. So Lamex points are sort of the sort of currency for this season, and you swap your Lumi into that.
Gotcha. I gotcha. So you also, another thing that you hit on is the different seasons, but maybe we can talk about, is there a certain rhyme or reason to each season? So that kind of rhymed too, but do you have a predetermined thing what you're going to do for each different season and different era for the Creepz, or does it kind of decided and then each one's going to be different and hasn't already been predetermined?
We've got seasons 1 to 4 predetermined, not pre-built necessarily. So season 1 was just sort of play to earn to get these bits of artwork. Season 2 currently is, creating or incubating your interdimensional lizards on next generative projects. Season 3 will be about a sort of metaverse play. And, we're not talking, we're talking about, serious investment into, maybe a sort of battle royale game using Unity engine or Unreal Engine or something, something really high fidelity, really high quality. And season 4 we haven't announced yet, so we're not going to. And there'll be seasons after that. But the reason to have the divide is so that we can focus, wholeheartedly on doing, that thing, that season, rather than sort of cramming it all together and not optimizing experiences. All the Creepz holders will know these are quite, in-depth, high engagement experiences. But it's really fun. It gives a fun cadence, and it gives something new and fresh. And
I think we lost him.
Maybe you can finish up for him. Or he's back.
Oh, we got him.
I don't know where I cut off, I'd basically given the bulk of the answer. So
yeah, I gotcha. I mean, did you want to add anything, Joe?
No, I think, look, as Dom said, seasons are really important for us. And, I think the space moves at 1,000,000 miles an hour. And, we wanted to make sure that we as a brand totally stay on top of the wave. And, I guess when designing a roadmap for an NFT brand, you've really got to think about, almost the impossible. You've got to think about what exists in 6 months, or what does the market want in 6 months' time or 3 months' time. And, these seasons allow us, they're typically 2-3 month seasons. They allow us to, take data from the market of what we believe is upcoming, go and build the actual implementation. But really, we work under kind of themes that we've set. So, we know that in season 3, we want to go deep in the metaverse. Exactly how we do that, we're currently taking, data points from what's going on, what's happening. You see plays happening all around from brands like Yuga. And for us, we're constantly absorbing as much information as possible. So when we do deliver something, it's 10x better than everything else. And that's kind of our thesis, is how do we give direction, and how do we show that actually we're here to build longevity and build value, but do it in a way where we can remain agile, do it in a way where we always on top of the trends, and do it in a way which actually means that when we do deliver something, the Creepz holders have the most awesome time, because that's the most important thing, right?
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. I think the last one I have from on my side is this is probably going to be a silly question to ask you guys, but do you spend a lot of time in Discord? How important is Discord to your community?
Discord is like going to church, but every single day and all day. It felt since day one until today, and it will be in the future. It's extremely important for me and Joe and the rest of the team to be in Discord all day, every day, for multiple reasons. The Creepz family is really a family. It's a cult at times. Mm-hmm. And someone described it earlier on today as like a 24/7 city that's always active, always got things going on. And we want to be a part of that. We want to be part of the family with people. We want to enjoy the brand as much as the holders do, rather than just sort of sit in the office as sort of third-party devs. And I think the holders quite like that.
I can tell from this chat, from our chat.
We are all co-owners in the brand essentially, and so we all hang out together. And I think the second thing is, getting in sort of conversational product design, data and sentiment is everything. And so by being there the whole time and talking with Creepz holders one-on-one on DMs and having video calls with them the whole time, we are getting so much direct data from the holders of what they're liking, what they're not liking. And they'll tell you that we're hyper reactive. If anything in experience isn't optimal, we'll have a solution to it in 48 hours and ship it. And it's just it's a useful mechanic, and it's also builds trust. And in a space like that acts like the Wild West sometimes, trust is invaluable.
I love it.
Look at this scrolling through on the background right now. Alyssa just joined the Discord, and I can say I think many of you have figured it out already. I just joined the Discord. I already popped in and said hello.
And it's cool. I mean, you guys aren't being bad, or we're not afraid.
Look at this. Look at this going.
You guys are my favorite, hands down.
Listen to Brian. This community is wild. A couple more here, but before we let you guys go, you already dropped a couple hints. We heard, airdrop. I think I heard you talking about, a game there. Can you just break down, the timeline kind of what's next for Creepz? You don't have to give specific dates, but maybe the order that people should expect things in kind of going forward the rest of the year, if you don't mind.
Yeah, Creepz is at an extremely exciting time. We're at a time of transition. 3 months ago, we launched quite literally out of a toilet cubicle. And we came crawling out as a little NFT baby brand. And we spent the past 3 months, turning into a toddler and into a rowdy teenager. And, we're now turning into our adult selves as a brand. we are going through an entire rebranding, repositioning, rejigging of all of it. We're working with 360 on this. We've taken all the learnings that we've learned from, the past 3 months, and we're going to pile that into, how can we supercharge this brand? The past 3 months has been about how do we create strong foundations with Creepz holders, and then we're moving forward. Be like, okay, this is our best step forward. This is really who we are. This is our personality. This is our brand. And now we're going to go into hyper growth mode and really try and spread the word and get more people in, and really start pushing forward with these really cool initiatives, whether it's these big Web2 collaborations or events or games or animated series or whatever it might be. And that's going to start rolling out from a month's time, and every month from there, we're gonna do something with a bang. But it's a really, really great time and exciting for the Creepz.
This is so exciting, and this has been awesome. I mean, I hate to just end things. We got a little bit of time left in the interview or in the show today, and we do have some news to get to here. But I mean, let me leave off with this, Joe and Dom, that we want to have you guys back on in the future. So maybe when we get more news from you guys, you hop back on, because we don't want this to end. We wish we could have you on every day, but I know that wouldn't work out for everyone here. But Joe and Dom, before we let you go, anything else to say to Creepz holders out there, or anyone who maybe hasn't joined the project yet?
To Creepz holders, it's just an eternal thank you and gratitude. You're the most awesome bunch of people. They're so supportive of each other and of us. A couple of weeks ago, they literally crowdfunded, 2 ETH for a non-holder who hung out in the Discord a while, and they thought, we want to make him official, and so they crowdfunded 2 ETH and brought him on. People have had engagements and weddings they've supported. People have had family members die, and they've been supportive of that, and it's it's just a real amazing place to be, and they've made our lives and all of their own lives incredibly fulfilling. So I think a big thank you to them, and actually a thank you to you, Brian and Chris. This is a very surreal moment being here, because we grew up in the NFT space listening to you guys and the wisdom that you have and the sort of smart intelligence you have and on all the good things. There are a lot of bad actors in this space, but there are some absolute jewels who try and steer the space into the place that it can get to, and full of honesty and sort of good stuff. And you guys embody that more than anyone. So thanks so much for doing that. And it's been an absolute pleasure being here.
Oh, thank you so much for those kind words. I don't know how to follow that up. Anything else to add here?
No, I just repeating Dom's word. Thank you guys. I really appreciate it. And for new holders, I hope you can see from the amazing community support we've got today. Creepz is really a special place to be. We have something for everyone, whether you're here for the art, for the gameplay, for the storytelling, the lore, for the shows, for all the crazy things, the meme competitions. Creepz really embodies what culture in NFTs is about. So, I guess all I have to say is get ready for the invasion.
Oh, we're all for it.
Man,
honestly, again, this is my favorite, my favorite interviews we've done. This is a lot of fun. You guys are amazing. You guys are great guests. Community's awesome, and there's a lot of positivity, which I really like about you guys, because you go into some spaces and it's just full of just nonsense or spam or whatever. This is just a lot of fun, and you just feel good about it. So I'm all about it. I like you guys a whole lot, and you'll be seeing more of me for sure.
Yeah, this has been awesome, and again, thank you guys for the kind words. We do this show, to bring interviews with founders of the different projects, to share details, that behind the scenes look and the forward looking, right? What's on the roadmap, but also just to connect with communities, which we're seeing, today. And, my hat's off to you guys. You have built a great community here. One of the most active chats I've ever seen on Benzinga YouTube before.
Wow.
So again, my hat's off to the community here. I hate to end this, but we're going to let you guys go. So Joe and Dom, you guys are welcome back anytime. So let us know when you have more to discuss.
Remember that shirt?
We'll bring you back on. Yeah,
We'll
and we gotta
swap
get some.
shirts.
We gotta get
We'll,
some
we
merch.
will. Just you can
Oh,
DM
it's happening.
me or Alyssa. You can DM one of us, and we'll get you the information. We'll swap them. So yeah.
Awesome.
All right,
I mean, look,
shirts, what's on?
we'd love to stay connected. We'll shoot you guys when we have cool news, and we'll love to come back on and share that exclusively to Benzinga first.
Oh yes, let's hear it. Yes,
You got
love it. All right,
Deal.
guys. Well, have a great rest of the day, and we will talk to you soon.
Okay.
Thank you.
Talk soon.
Cheers,
Bye.
guys. Bye.
Brian, I don't even know what to say and where to go after that. I mean,
That was wild.
This has been insane. This has been wild. This community is amazing. We've witnessed this several times, right? During our different interviews, we've seen, communities show up. They've been active in the chat, but I mean, I don't think I'm lying. And, I think you'd echo that, but I have never seen a chat like this during one of our interviews.
They think we're smart.
Hey, I'm okay with that. I mean, Brian, I went and joined the Discord, and I immediately got a bunch of welcomes, a bunch of hi, a bunch of Benzinga, one of us, which they're still going. We're going to be talking about Creepz more in the future. We definitely got to
You'll
hear
see
that.
a lot more of them for sure.
I hate to do this, but I'm going to segue away from Creepz just for
Wait, sometimes we have to.
The rest show, right? We're going to talk about some news, which we often do here on the roadmap. So if you're new and you've never watched us before, which I'm sure a lot of you today, we also provide news and headlines and education along with these interviews we do. So, Brian, one of the things we've been talking about lately is we actually launched an NFT bracket with 64 different NFT teams competing, right, for the title. And I just wanted to remind everyone that voting on the final four for the semifinals ends on April 8th at 9 p.m. Eastern time. And I don't even think I need to pull it up here on the screen, but just so you guys know, the votes are close. They are incredibly even right now, Brian. I don't know if you've looked, but Star Catchers and Doodles is tied 50%, 50%. And over on the other side, Lazy Lions has 48%, Crypto Dads 52%.
Oh, my dads.
Those are insanely close. So we want to make sure every vote gets counted. So I dropped that link in the chat. Make sure you vote. And I mean, Brian, I'm just going to throw this out here. We might do another bracket before March because this was fun. But otherwise, if we do one next year for March Madness, I know I'm going to be putting in there, and I just have this feeling that they're going to make it really far.
They're going to win.
Next year,
Creepz. Like
sorry you didn't make it into the bracket this year, and we'll get you next time.
Promise.
All right. Well, Brian, I saw some big news last night. So I got done working. I was outside playing with my kids, and then I saw a notification on Slack, right, from one of my coworkers, Logan, that said, hey, check this out. Tom Brady may have just aped into Bored Ape Yacht Club, right? And
a creep.
I wrote an article, and we still don't know if it's 100% confirmed, but Tom Brady tweeted out a response because this Bored Ape has what looks to be a cigarette or a joint in his mouth, and Tom Brady tweeted it and said, I didn't inhale. And to me, the fact that he retweeted that, like, why would you share that if you don't really own the Bored Ape? Because what he retweeted was in response to someone saying, hey, welcome to the Bored Ape community. So, Alyssa, if you want to pull up that picture of the ape here, it's there it is. I mean, so the cool thing here is that one of the traits is what's called a World War II pilot helm hat, which is only on 1% of apes. So, Brian, if you go back to like the old days of football, the leather heads, right?
Oh, yeah.
That thing as their helmet. I feel like this perfectly represents kind of the old school football look. So I feel like that's why this is possibly the one that Brady owns. And, again, we don't know the details for sure.
Check
but
the wallet. We can try to see.
So I checked the wallet, and the wallet, someone bought it yesterday. And then it got transferred to another wallet, and that wallet that it got transferred to only owns like 5 NFTs. And it's just random.
It's all Tom Brady's face.
Yeah, so we don't know for sure, but it appears that Tom Brady is a member of Bored Ape Yacht Club, and to me, this is a pretty big deal, right? Because obviously Brady is a huge figure in the space. I mean, he retired, now he's coming back. But also he launched a apparel brand called Brady Brand, so there's a possibility maybe of doing some merch or something.
Ooh.
He also has an NFT company called Autograph that he co-founded that has some NFT drops with DraftKings, right? He has a partnership with our friends FTX, right? He's an investor in FTX, the sponsor of today's episode.
Spokesman too.
He's in the commercials. He is huge, and to me, the fact that he owns a Bored Ape, I feel like is as big, if not bigger, than any celebrity joining that project because of his ties to the NFT space. So I think that's a pretty cool deal. The one question I have, Brian, I think this was before you were on the show, but I'll even put it up here. Last year, a safety for the Colts. Check these out, Brian.
Oh, yeah.
A Bored Ape on his cleats.
Those are
so I tweeted out to Tom Brady last night, and I mean, Brian, he didn't respond.
Automatically message you back.
He didn't respond because he's a busy guy.
Yeah. He saw it.
But I said when cleats, right? Because I want to know when Tom Brady is going to put his ape on his cleats, and I guess we'll find out in the future.
I mean, he's got one more season in him at least.
At least. The other celebrity I saw join the community, Brooklyn Beckham, who is the oldest son of David Beckham, soccer superstar, bought a mutant ape. And this one was kind of interesting because he's actually owned the mutant ape for quite a while, but he made it his profile picture yesterday and said, hashtag new profile pic. And this one's an interesting conversation, Brian, because, Brooklyn Beckham, grows up in this Web3 generation. David Beckham was around before that, right? So my question here is kind of connecting. I mean, you're a dad, I'm a dad. Like, how important is it for kids to be getting into the NFT space and having that influence maybe on their parents to get into crypto and NFTs? I feel like that's something we've seen, especially Christmas time, right? It was a big topic. Everyone was like, everyone's going to be talking around the dinner table about, buy Bitcoin and stuff. How important do you think this is to see David Beckham's son get into Mutant Ape, and possibly that leads to David Beckham getting into the NFT space?
I think it's pretty cool. And like anything else, just like as you said, as a dad, I know a lot of the stuff about kids things because my daughter likes certain things. She's always talking about some new show that, now I have to watch. And so now I'm buying the toys for it. Now I'm watching the new movie, and now we got to wait for this. Got to get this one when this comes out, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah. And like what we talked about with, I think it was Toy Boogers or no, it was Cool Cats talking about the plushies and all the different merch and stuff like that that's tailored for kids, getting them involved. So, yeah, I mean, it's huge. Get David Beckham involved. I mean, you're going to follow whatever your kid says he wants to do. I mean, my daughter's got me wrapped around her little finger. So, yeah, I can't say no.
Yeah, and I mean, like I said, like I'm seeing, I'm showing my kids more and more NFTs, right? And using them as kind of a gauge on the artwork, the ability to make it a show. I've shared before, Robatos is one of their favorite, right? So, hats off to Pablo Stanley, the artist who's been on the show before. They're making that into a show, and based on what my kids say, which my kids are only, 3 kids. It's not every kid in the world, but they want to see that made into a TV show, right? And that gets me excited that, we're going to make it, right? Some of these projects are going to be really cool shows for kids.
Yeah, and it's awesome to get them involved in this whole technology in general, get them involved early, because in my opinion, this is what's going to run the rest of their life. And if my daughter knows how to deal with cryptocurrency and deal with NFTs at an early age, she's going to be a lot more successful, or way earlier than I was. So, I mean, kids these days, it's perfect.
Yeah, definitely.
Time to get into it.
Brian, we're running out of time, but I want to get through a couple more headlines here. I saw that Axie Infinity parent company, Sky Mavis, they announced a new $150 million funding round led by Binance. Animoca Brands, which owns the Sandbox, they were also an investor, as was A16Z, which is Anderson Horowitz, a famous investing fund. But Brian, what's interesting about this is that they said the funding round, so $150 million, is combined with Sky Mavis balance sheet funds to ensure that all users affected by the Ronin hack will be reimbursed. So my question to you is that, I mean, we talk about stocks a lot, you know, with Benzinga, private companies. You raise money to support your future growth. What do you think of Axie raising money here to really, you know, refund people potential losses and keep their existing user base? You know, is that the right idea here?
I mean, I think that's pretty cool. I think that's really respectable for a project to do. We've had one of the co-creators of Axie has been on Moon or Bust whenever I was doing that show. He was one of our guests, and it was really cool having him talk about it and how to see how like genuine and caring he is about the users for his project. Because I mean, they're one of the biggest crypto projects there ever has been. So it's really awesome. I think it's great that they're, you know, trying to give back and trying to, you know, help out people who are affected by this huge hack. So I think it's super respectable, and they have nothing but good vibes from me. I mean, that's awesome.
Yeah, and Brian, the cool thing about this funding round was that they shared some new statistics, right? Which we love to talk about here on the show. Brian, get a load of these numbers. Axie has processed 10 times more all-time volume than the second largest NFT game. Ronin has processed 3 times more NFT trading volume than all other chains except for Ethereum. There are 2.6 million people that own Axies, which is 4 times more than the next largest NFT project, which is NBA Top Shot. The Ronin wallet.
We named it on this show too.
Every episode, NBA Top Shot. The Ronin wallet has been downloaded 3 million times. With 2.2 million monthly active players, Axie is the most played NFT game of all time. Those stats are mind-blowing of how far ahead they are in the gaming space.
I mean, it's not even a contest. I mean, they are so much further ahead than anybody else. But there's a lot more room to grow. Very new space, and let's see more games evolve from this too, and match what they're doing. But yeah, it's crazy how successful they've been.
Awesome. Well, I think that's going to do it, Brian. We're out of time. This has been a great one. It's been a great couple of weeks. I don't think we're going to have an episode tomorrow, unfortunately. I have prior obligations, aka my kids. And we'll do a replay, though, I think, of that Cool Cats interview for anyone who missed it.
Should be good.
And
check it out.
We'll be back next week. We got a full load of interviews coming. I know we'll be talking to some of those projects that we talked about yesterday's episode, right? We talked about projects to watch in April, and Toy Boogers, they're coming back on the show because they're going to talk about Kit Bash Boogers, that combo with Cool Cats, Deadfellas, and Robotos. I'm so excited to hear about that. So cool. Shout out to all our new viewers and listeners who tuned in today from the Creepz community. We'd love to have you come back and check us out. The roadmap airs 2 p.m. Eastern time, Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. That's going to do it. Everyone take care, and we will catch you in the Creepz Discord.